The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Talk I.N.K, Ian and Kim. I'm Ian Stevens, and you are the incomparable
Kim Marie.
Kim Marie.
Today.
Today, and tomorrow, and next week, and the week after, and the week after that.
I know.
Her mother loves her to death.
Stuck with it.
Man, it's hot out there today, huh?
Oh, my goodness.
It has not been as humid and hot.
And it's even hotter when you travel down here with no AC in the car because it's not working, so you have to roll down one window and try to breathe.
Yeah, people are going to understand something. We're in Tampa. She's in Daytona Beach, or they call it Deltona Beach, which is on the Atlantic side of Florida. And I live in Tarpon Springs, which is on the Gulf side of Tampa, or Florida, I should say.
Right.
So we kind of meet. I travel about 25 miles inland, and she's traveling a couple hundred miles to get here to be with us. But today, it's just really weird. Our weather here in Florida, usually about April, May is when the humidity starts, and we haven't had any of that. And it's only like the last 2-3 days.
And hurricane season.
Yeah, hurricanes. We haven't had a hurricane in 10 years, knock wood, ding, ding. I've been here 5. We haven't had one. We had a real remnants of, like, Isaiah just got the last outside whip of the winds for about 2 hours.
I was in the eye of the storm in Charlie.
Were you? See, I was in California enjoying earthquakes.
It was really scary. That's all I can tell you.
Really?
We lost 72 trees on the property. 72.
And she has a little bit of, she has a La Casa de Kim out that way. And it's a beautiful, how many acres out there? About 20? 5 acres? Looks bigger, and it's a nice little spread. The house is out nice. I mean, you could really stretch and don't have to look across and see your neighbor across the street, like our situation. I mean, if our neighbors have loud music, it's time to call the Tarpon Springs police officers.
I can walk outside any way I'd like.
Really?
That's all I can tell you.
Really? Are you like one with nature?
We'll just cut it at that.
Yeah, I wish I could. If I walk out, like she walks out of her property, I'd be like, I didn't know that, I wasn't supposed to do that, officer, kind of thing. But no, it's just been unseasonably warm. And yesterday we were filming a commercial.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, out in here in Tampa, and my buddy Dan Roebuck, who's been in a jillion things from The Fugitive to Lost. He was a regular Matlock, and so he
watched Dudes last night. Part of it.
Did you watch Dudes?
Yeah.
Oh, the other night it was really funny because I was on the computer. I told Danny this. I said I was sitting on the computer, and I look over the TV, and Jeffrey was watching Final Destination. Well, Danny played one of the detectives that was following the kids who were dying, thinking they were murdering each other, and it wasn't death following the kids because they had eluded death because the airplane crashed and the 7 kids that were left behind. Well, he played one of the 2 detectives throughout the whole movies and did a couple of the series on that. And then the remote dropped on the floor, no joke, and it hit last play. And what should pop up but Agent Cody Banks, and there's a scene with Dan dropping him off at camp. I'm going.
And I was watching him last night.
I just going, my gosh, this is like the Danny Roebuck ghost chasing me in my own home, and I had nothing to do with it, And I told Danny that yesterday. He got a big kick out of it. So it was a lot of fun. So Danny and Tammy, thank you so much. We had a great time yesterday. And here's to many more.
And Walking Dead is really huge, just to throw it out there really quick.
Is Danny in that too?
He's in the web episodes, and I finally got to catch that. So, I mean, I know Walking Dead is huge. You have to check those out.
Yeah, I'm not a big Walking Dead zombie thing.
It's on a lot of people are.
I know.
So,
I like
A lot of
poltergeist
people
stuff.
are.
I like
And
Conjuring.
he's in it, and it's really good.
But he's just in the web series, though, right?
Right.
He's not in the series.
The web series. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the one thing that Danny's doing really well, which we really like, is his kind of his alter ego is called Dr. Shocker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, Cassandra Peterson that did Elvira. Well, his is kind of a ghoulish master of ceremonies, if you will, with kind of a, and he talks about all the horror genre through the years. And he works with Rob Zombie. We showed, his trailer a couple weeks ago, and he was our guest, and we Skyped him out, and it was really cool. And I was fortunate.
I need to get around to see that.
Yeah,
too,
it was really cool.
And I'm a big horror.
And you're a big what?
Horror fanatic.
A horror fanatic.
Horror.
Okay. Horror, You say horror? Horror fanatic?
Yeah.
Of course. And I'm
from Florida.
Well, good for you.
That's the accent.
Oh, really? I didn't realize Floridians. Yeah, to me, it's like Floridians.
Yeah, we have our own thing going on.
If you live in North Florida, you're right near the Georgia border. So, I bet tell like this, be out there in the backwoods of Florida, you know what I'm saying? Then you get further south, like Miami, it's, I used to live in Brooklyn. Now I live here in Miami Beach.
That's right. I was born in New Jersey and down here. So
what's the deal here? Then you get me, who like from California. It's like, oh my gosh, like I don't believe it. I feel like, whoa, oh my word.
Yeah.
And it's one thing about living in Pinellas County, which is the peninsula side of the bay. It's very much like LA because it's one continuous city. I mean, Doug lives in St. Pete, and that's the southern part of Pinellas County, and I live in the north part, right near Pasco County, but I'm still in Pinellas. And if for those of you who've been in LA, Pinellas really does remind you of a lot of Los Angeles because there's no gap. It's just one city after the next, and it's just like that in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it's like that up where I live too.
Well, no, you got farmland. Well, unless you're like up in Lancaster, California, about an hour's north of LA, or out inland towards Palm Springs.
But I live in Deltona, and I could be by choice if I want to.
If you want to
be an enterprise, if I want to be.
But you Enterprise
and then we're
car rental. Matt used to work for Enterprise.
There's three: Osteen, Enterprise.
Why are we giving
Deltona.
them protos? I don't know.
They're all together. They're all like a street away, so it's the same situation. Thank you very much.
But to piggyback what Kim just said is very true. They were showing satellite imagery of you can see the illumination of lights at nighttime from the United States, and they were showing it what it was back in 1960, 70, 80, 90, and 2000. And it was interesting watching Los Angeles to Palm Springs and Santa Barbara. It was one light here, Palm Springs here, Santa Barbara here. And over the years, the light got bigger and bigger, and now it's just one, like this glob, right? Same thing here in Florida. You had the Tampa Bay area, you had Orlando, you had Daytona and Miami, and now the connecting road, which is Highway 4 or US 4 that connects east to west across the state of Florida, is now one big strip of lights. Because they've built up so much, just like they did in LA. So if you live out in Lakeland or you live in Polk County, you commute to Tampa or you commute to Orlando because you're right in the middle. Or if you live between that where you're at, that people commute from between Orlando or to Daytona Beach or then Daytona down the coast all the way down to Miami. It's one continuous city. So it's interesting how people have migrated over the years, and have increased the population.
Florida is a long state.
It's like a banana.
Yeah.
Yeah, like more coast. But it's a trivia question. They say that
I don't know. I'm ready to move.
Oh my gosh. So anyway.
Yeah.
Lots going on. My kids are starting band camp tomorrow because school's out as of last Wednesday. So Lacey, right? You're doing band camp tomorrow, right? Yeah. And she plays the tuba, and she's all excited. Jeffrey's playing the saxophone.
I had this story, and it was from band camp.
I went to home, band camp,
Band camp.
okay. And, it's like really cool.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah. So they're real excited. I know Lacey's a little wiped out because we went swimming this afternoon, so we got a little bit of sun, and she's fair-skinned, so she looks like a little cherry tomato right now, so she's probably a little beat and tired. But Jeffrey's all excited, too, and 2 weeks is going to be for the next 2 weeks. And then I'm hoping I come into some money. So if anybody wants to send me some money, please. I have a big family reunion, and we haven't had one in 10, 15 years. It's going to be in Pasadena, California, and that's where my family's from. And unless something happens, I get a windfall of some sort, we won't be able to go. And we're really hoping to go because a lot of my cousins are my older cousins too. Because my great grandma Lacey, she had nothing but girls. She had like 10 girls and one boy, and then they were all married to different. So all of the first cousins have different last names. Sparger, Eastwood, Stevens, Lalone, Lacey, Sanchez. All these people. So and because my great grandmother was Spanish and Indian, you had so funny that when we do have the reunions, they look at me like, oh, here come the white sheep of the family, kind of funny stuff. So they're looking forward, and we've been Facebooking left and right about attending, but unless something miraculous happens, because I'm trying to get the business is taking off, but had to reinvest back into this show as well with you, and also the expo that's coming up in August 2nd and 3rd. That's the Florida Film Industry Expo. So I hope you guys really come out. We're building a wonderful road of A-listers that are teaching from both sides of the camera in film and television, and really making our mark. This will be our 2nd annual, and we have people like Stephanie Drakovich, who has 7 number one shows going on right now with Lockup and the Wahlburgers. I know the Wahlburger on it, and
I keep saying it, the Wahlburgers.
The Wahlburgers.
Y'all can go onto the website too and check out the trailer and see that as well.
FFI Expo or FFIEXPO.com from last year, and then you can purchase your tickets. Very affordable, 2 days, $150. Less expensive than most any other events, but you're getting taught by some of the top people in the industry from both sides of the camera, coming in from LA and New York, and also some of the local top talent that have retransplanted here, like myself and a few others, to give leadership in the film industry and working a lot.
Yeah, because a lot of people can't get out to LA
to
get this.
Well, actually, there's no reason to, because a lot of companies are coming to Florida to film, and they're going to Georgia or Louisiana, but a lot of them are still coming here. And case in point, we just finished Dolphin Tale, and that's going to be released in September. Right. I'm working on a couple projects myself, which we have a few people like Donald Sutherland, a few others that have verbally committed to some projects that we're putting together in the paranormal genre, and doing that. Some great things that are happening between Magic Bean Productions and Fade to Black, and I can't really say too much about it.
Here,
and of course here, and Danny Roebuck was just here, was in Lost and Matlock, and we just filmed the commercial we just worked on yesterday for the home improvement store. So Bruce, another plug for you, pal. There you go.
Yeah, that's fun.
They're over there on Curlew and 19 in the beautiful city of Clearwater. So come on out. Anyway, we are really excited because this seems to be the happening place. We've had Butch Patrick on, we've had Sean Whalen on, we've had Danny Roebuck was on. We did a Skype with him. We've had Eddie Deason, who was Eugene in Greece, along with Barry Pearl and Susan.
Everybody that's been on has just been great. They've been
We've
very
had a wonderful show.
People.
Yes, very genuine. And we've had a wonderful, wonderful time. And tonight's show is without any exception. And we are so pleased to have a woman that was a regular on Little House on the Prairie. And also, I'm gonna throw you a curveball here. Do you remember the show? Was that your show? Did you ever watch Little House?
My mother watched that show religiously.
Okay.
And I was very young at the time, and I did watch it. Okay. I don't remember a lot of the show.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say.
No, it's okay. But were you a big?
I'm just being honest. But my mother did watch it.
Well,
she still.
Well, good for Mom. That's okay. I'm talking about you.
That's fine. I'm.
No, did you ever watch Days of Our Lives?
I watched Loving. I didn't watch Days of Our Lives.
I used to watch Ryan's Hope, but Days of Our Lives was on it. It was cool.
Okay.
But she was a regular on that too. She played Sandy Horton, Dr. Sandy Horton, and she played also Sarah Carter on Little House on the Prairie. Right. So please welcome. We have Skyped in, so she is going to be on camera, Miss Pamela Roylance. Pamela, you there? Are we on, guys?
Hello?
Hello. Oh, there she is. Can you hear me, Pam? Oh, modern technology. I see a picture. There she is.
Are you on the beach?
Can you hear me, Ian?
Yeah, you're a little bit on delay, so it's going to be like one of those Japanese movies again. But that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll ask you a question. We can hear you in real time, but your lips are following your words. So we'll make sure that after you've talked, we'll hold for 2-3 seconds, and then we'll ask you another question.
Okay.
Okay.
I think I got most of that. I'm getting a little crew talk as well, so.
All right. We will slow down when we speak.
Hold up finger.
Does that help?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, cool. Can you see us as well?
I can see you just great. Just great.
All right, because there we are on our screen there too. I just have to also say real quick before we continue on, we forgot to mention our proud sponsors of Off Duty Wear, who are going to be sponsoring our whole hour with our time with you today, Pam. And they are top notch in office and athletic apparel. So Off Duty Wear, you can check with them at www.offduty.com. So how is everything in beautiful Los Angeles these days? Can you hear me?
Did you just ask me a question?
I did. How is everything in Los Angeles these days?
Everything is great. I should explain. I'm hearing the sound booth. So I'm hearing all that.
Oh, you're hearing Gary talking.
And YouTube.
Gary, can you stop talking? Or can you mute your microphone? Because she can't hear me asking questions when you're talking.
Or could
Is
we
that
cut
better?
that
Can you hear me
just
now?
go you and I?
All right. Mac, did you tell him? Okay, tell him to ferme la bouche. He can't talk because she's hearing you talk, Gary. Okay, are you hearing him talk now?
He just said his mic wasn't on.
No, it's somehow she's hearing you, Gary.
Sorry, Gary.
Gary's our producer. We love him. We cherish him. But now he has to be quiet. So, can we get Pam back up on the screen, please? There we go. I'd rather look at her than you. Anyway, so now can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I hear you great. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Good.
There you go. Now, is that your beautiful backyard we're looking at?
Well, it's a friend of mine's backyard. I had to race over here from the shoot we were on today, and I couldn't get to my house in time, so I just came straight here.
Wow.
So I apologize for whatever sirens or birds or cars will be interfering.
Well, it's be kind of good. I mean, it's okay. Kind of adds to the flavor of LA. I've been, hearing birds and sirens and,
Right.
She
right.
raced over from the shoot, though.
Yeah, what
is
shoot are
she
you
shooting?
doing? Yeah, what are you shooting, Pam?
What are you shooting?
What was that, Ian?
What film
are
are
you
you
shooting?
shooting?
Oh, this is a new media project. It's an 8-day shoot. It's 135 pages feature film that we just finished the 8th day today.
Wow.
And it's one of these new projects that they've got a couple of great cameras called Red cameras, but I mean they're shooting 2 cameras at once, and they're knocking everything out really fast. And it's a comedy. It's called Criminal Criminals. Very funny, and it's going to be great to see how it evolves because it's sort of an indication of the way things are going in this industry right now, which is very different. It used to take us 1 day to shoot 6 pages of dialogue on Little House on the Prairie.
And
we
then,
did
so the comparison is
25 pages today.
Yeah. So, but you guys, because you only shot 6 pages a day on Little House, was because you were filming as opposed to video or the red camera you just mentioned, right?
That's correct, yeah. And they had to look at the daily rushes, and there weren't the monitors there to watch, and it was very different back in the day.
How long was a day, though, to you? Was it like 8-hour day, or was it a 12-hour day?
Yeah. Now, Michael Landon was very good being a family man. He was very good about getting people home for dinner. So our days were 12 to 14-hour days.
I see.
But we would start at 6 and pretty much wrap by 6 or maybe 8.
Yeah, at that time, Pam and I were kind of like, we were like special friends.
Right.
And so like sometimes she'd come off the set and I'd be waiting at McDonald's on Laurel Canyon and going, she's going to miss a Big Mac special. So, no, it was a great time. Can you tell us some fun stories that when you were working on Little House with having, one of the absolute television geniuses in Michael, as a director myself, I've learned a lot from him watching the times when I used to come out and watch this on set. What were some of the fun stories that you can recall with us in your journeys when you were on Little House?
I just a little background. I had come to LA from Portland, Oregon,
Right.
with no one in the business, no Barrymore last name, not a lot of money in my pocket, and I just came here like pretty much everybody who gets off the bus. And I had majored in theater arts, and I just knew I wanted to act. And so this was one of my 4 goals was to be on either the Waltons, which was popular then,
Right.
8 is Enough, which was popular then, anything Walt Disney, or Little House on the Prairie. So I came with those goals in mind. So when I got a job at a candy factory, and I was and I can remember everybody who worked there was an actor. And so we all got off for our auditions, and we were all encouraging each other all the time. And people kept saying, "Are you willing to work for 5 or 10 years at this candy factory before you get your big break?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I had already done the famous Slumber Party Massacre, which was the very first film I ever did here.
Mm-hmm. And how was that?
And then when pardon me?
How was that?
She got a drill bit through her stomach. That I know.
It was great. It was a great place for me to sort of cut my teeth in front of the camera. And all I had done was local commercials and local industrial films in Portland. So this was big time, and it was really fun. And it was a great place to make your mistakes. And so that by the time Little House came, I was still working at the chocolate factory. I was probably 15 or 20 pounds overweight. And especially back then, the way you looked was really important. And I was kind of still in that, young mom, young ingenue role where I still had to look good. And I had auditioned for the role of Sandy Horton on Days of Our Lives, and I'd gotten turned down because, as the casting director told my agent, she's terrific. It's a shame she's so fat. And so I got turned down, and my agent just ripped me to pieces and said, "You lose that weight. I don't care what it takes. You lose that weight." Well, I didn't care. I just thought, I hate this town. I hate these people. No one's going to tell me what I have to look like. And so I didn't lose the weight. And 4 months later, I get this audition for Little House, and I had to lose weight. Michael said, she's really great, but I need her to lose a little bit of weight for me. He didn't say, it's a shame she's so fat. He just said, I need her to lose a little bit of weight. So
how long have you been acting at this point? How long have you been acting at this point of your story right here?
All I had done was, outside of the work I did in Portland, I had done was Slumber Party Massacre.
So maybe a year into it now?
Well, you were also doing Dear Ruth at Glendale Center. That's where you and I met.
Oh, right.
So you did some stage stuff here in Los Angeles. Not here, but you're in Los Angeles. But
and we'd done
before you got the stuff.
There.
Right.
So how long?
And in the
about a year or two. Weren't you in town for about a year or two before you landed Little House?
So she hadn't been acting that long.
No. She in Portland. She did for a long time. She did. You were in college. You went to Portland State University, correct?
I was.
Right.
And I'm so sorry. I'm getting the booth again. So I'm so sorry that I'm not hearing everything you're asking me.
Shut up.
But,
can you tell those guys?
I'm so sorry.
They can't.
Unfortunately, the volume in the booth is louder.
That's
than
okay.
Yours.
That's okay.
I want to hear Pam. If you guys talk, we can't. The Skype doesn't work, guys. So you can't talk in there. Okay. Do hand signals or something, or write notes to each other. Otherwise, we can't have a conversation.
How long did she say?
Is she still on?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, we lost your visual feed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, hold on. Just stay where you are. There you are.
Okay. I see.
There we go. All right, we're good. It's modern technology and all this kind of great stuff.
How long did she say, though? I didn't hear.
So when was the first time you wanted to be an actress? Were you like in your early teens or?
I was in the 6th grade, and I was in our school play, our class play, our 6th grade play, and I was playing a boy. And
that's great.
You played a boy. I played a girl.
That's cool.
And my dad told me, he came to see it, and he said, "Honey, you were prompting everybody on that stage who forgot their lines." Isn't that funny?
Oh, what a good omen that was, right?
I know, except it's the reverse now. You get to an age where memory becomes kind of challenging, and now
what was the play called?
What was the play that you were in 6th grade? What was the play?
It was called The Sun Goddess, or The Sun God. It was called The Sun God. And it was something about the Mayan culture, which is what we were studying, and our teacher wrote it. So it was just a little class play.
Well, that's cute.
That's how it all begins.
Yeah, that's how it began. I was just smitten.
You're just so smitten.
So you had a taste of it from then on, and
and knew I loved it, knew I wanted it. My family was very supportive about getting down here, and in fact, when I was up for Little House, I was working at the chocolate factory, and it was kind of like pack a box, eat a box was my motto, and I was pretty good at it. So I knew I had to lose this weight, so my mom and Dad fronted me the money so that I could quit the job. And I just worked out at the gym, walked around Lake Balboa, and just worked out. And I lost enough weight in a couple weeks' time. When I went back to see Michael Landon, he was so impressed, and he hired me. And it was a dream come true. And he was wonderful. He was always so gracious to me. There were 6 of us, including Shannon Doherty, who came on the show that year.
Right.
And
she was a little girl then.
Yeah.
Yep.
But isn't that so cool that this is something that you wanted to do? You know, you had it in your mind that this is what you wanted to do, and then you ended up getting that. How cool is that?
Well, Kim, the neatest thing was the first day we were on location, and we were standing in that little house, and I was looking up at that loft up above where the 2 little girls had always been, and in this case, it was our 2 little boys were up there, and I thought, this is the most amazing thing. I am the only female on this entire planet who is in these little country boots right now, standing in this little house looking up at that loft, and there's only one person that gets to do this, and how amazing is it that he chose me? And what are the odds? And I don't know the formula. I know that you have to be ready. You have to get your ducks in a row. You have to get your training. You have to know what you're doing. You have to get your agents. You have to get your photos. You have to do all the to-dos.
Yes.
And then you have to believe and, set that goal and go after it and always believe that it's going to happen. And it's been a roller coaster ride. He was wonderful to work with. When I went on to Days of Our Lives, after we got word that this show was canceled, Little House was canceled, I went on to Days right away. And I thought, oh, this is easy. I get one job to the next, series regular stuff. This is great. And he called and he said, don't accept any new jobs. We're going to do 3 made-for-TV movies after this, and it'll take us a half a year to get them finished. Excuse me. And I'd already accepted the job, but it was also NBC, as was Little House. And so Michael worked it out with Days that I was able to do both shows. I was very busy, and I was in a play at the Glendale Theater at that time.
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah,
One of
no,
the
we did a second. We actually we did a Roman Candle together. Remember that?
Yes, right. Oh, yes.
1986, we did that. That was a great play. I had fun. Remember I played a colonel, and
Yes,
you were the young leading lady in the play. People don't understand. Glendale Center Theater is a great stopping ground for a lot of actors because it's a beautiful 500-seat theater in the round. It's family owned, but they've been continuously playing. So there's never a week that's ever dark since 1946 or 7. And they started out writing their own plays, and they started incorporating standard plays like from Neil Simon or whoever. And
still
one
there
of the
now?
plays. Oh yeah, it's very strong. The son Tim Dietlein was a dear friend of both Pam and myself. He and his wife Brenda run it now. Their grandparents and their parents started it back in the day, and then now Tim and his wife, and then they've actually branched out. They have a Center Theater in Utah, one in Arizona, and one other place. I think it's like maybe in Mexico or something. I'm not sure.
I wanna
Maybe
say
Tijuana.
New Mexico, maybe?
I'm kidding. I don't know Mexico, but
I think it's New Mexico.
New Mexico. That's probably right.
I think.
And the family is really big, as most of the Hale family and Swenson family is pretty big, and the Dietlein family, and just a gorgeous theater. But for the one that they have in Glendale is very centrally located because it's right near all the studios. So casting agents and directors, I mean, that's where Danny was found. I mean, we were doing No Time for Stars. Dan only had one movie under his belt, which was a very non-rememberable movie. It was Cave Girl. And we were doing No Time for Sergeants, and he got picked to do River's Edge.
Like that movie.
Yeah, River's Edge with Keanu Reeves and Dennis Hopper. And then his career took off, and because he was invited to come out to see, he invited Andy Griffith to come out to see No Time for Sergeants. And we had a blast. A lot of us got work. I got some work as well, and other people got work right after that show. And we did that. We did almost a couple hundred plays because it ran for 10 weeks. We did six shows a week. We did 2 on Saturday, so we did about 60 performances. And it's just a great stopping ground. So that's where Pam and I met first, was 1981, when she was doing Dear Ruth, and she played Ruth. And I went, wow, who's that?
And do you remember the wonderful Emmy Award-winning Ellen Wheeler?
Oh, yeah. Ellen played my hovel when I did Fiedka in Fiddler on the Roof. She played my wife, and it was her first play that came out. And the funny thing about that whole play was because, Ellen then went on to New York and became an Emmy Award-winning actress in Days of Our Lives and The Doctors and all those other shows she did. But Ray Coombs, who was on, you knew Ray, and
Yes.
Ray was the host of Family Feud.
Family Feud.
And Ray's first show was a funny backstory. Ray's first show was Fiddler on the Roof, and he played one of the Russian soldiers. And I played Fiedka, and I had to command these guys. And one time Ray was so funny because he would tell us he was a warm up. That's how we got his start.
He was pretty short, wasn't
He was about 5'5", but he did warm up for comedy shows, but he did stand up, and that's how he got hired to do warm up for Amen and 227 and a lot of the Norman Lear shows. Johnny Carson heard him was because one of the Carson shows was 227. Brought Ray on the Tonight Show, and it was the only time ever in the history of the Tonight Show that Johnny Carson had for 30 years that a comedian got a standing ovation. And
Wow.
and the Carson, rather than give him the thumbs up, he waved him over because the comedians never, so if he does this, that means you go back and you go backyards. If he gives you a nice sign off or a thumbs up, that means more contact. But if he does this and you sit on a sofa, well, your career is pretty much made.
Wow.
And then no joke, the very next day I happened to be down in Venice Beach after the night that he was on Carson, and he bumped. He goes, Ian, and I go, hey Ray, what's going on? He goes, and all these people came up to him, were asking autographs, and he goes, I said, your life's changing, dude. And he goes, yep. And we stayed in touch, and I used to write material for him when we were doing a bunch of stuff. But the thing about it was when he was playing one of the Russian guys in the show, he had to pretend to be he was a Russian, and had to tell the people you must leave Anatevka, right? Well, he missed his cue to hit the stage because he was backstage telling jokes one day, and he runs on stage. He's coming down the stairs. He literally almost fell on the stage, and he looks at John Rankin, who was playing Tevye, and he looks at his battalion, goes, "You guys got to get out of here." He totally broke character. He was like, "You guys." Like, we're gonna say "you guys" in poverty-stricken Russia in 1912, right? Go figure. Totally out of character. It's one of the great backstories of Hollywood.
Were you in that movie, Her?
I was, but you'll never see me. I got cut.
Is that about a cell phone or something, or was
yes,
that?
it's.
I saw a preview of that, and that was really weird. Can you tell me about that?
What's this movie about? What? I never
It's
heard
like
this.
a cell phone or something. It looked odd. Do you want to
it
tell
starred
me about
Joaquin
that, or
Phoenix.
tell our listeners? Go ahead.
Yeah, it starred Joaquin Phoenix, and he falls in love with the voice on his cell phone,
Right.
who's played by Scarlett Johansson. And it's kind of set just slightly enough in the future, not too much, but just a little, so that we have the advanced technology to create emotions within our technology. And this voice can learn to read him like a lover would, and knows what he's facing in life and encourages him and consoles him and helps him to. He lives a very sheltered kind of quiet.
He's a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of gathered that seeing the preview.
He's just a nerd.
Yeah.
Of that. So.
Nerd.
So how is that doing that movie?
Well, it did fine. Unfortunately, 1 month before it was released, we got a call saying, "We're so sorry, but we had to take out that entire." It was Rooney Mara's backstory, and they had to take out that whole backstory. And a lot of us went down with it. It was really nicely done. It was about a 4-day shoot. A lot of people were involved, and it was. I played a 60-minute reporter who interviewed her because she was a famous neuroscientist, and she had come to an amazing discovery where if she tapped into a section of the brain with all of her electrodes, it would touch people's spirituality. And the people that she was studying began to think she was God, and they began to worship her. So it was an amazing backstory. And we heard that it was very well liked, and it was just a matter of time that they had to, timing, they had to cut it down because the film was too long. So, yeah, unfortunately, unless it's on the DVD director's cut or I don't know, the shots that weren't included, maybe we'll see it one day. I hope we will. I was real proud of it, and I had a great time working with Spike Jonze. He was really wonderful to me.
But isn't that I mean, I think we've all been victims one way or another of ending up on the editor room's floor. I know I have been as well. But Pam, I mean, it's especially when you put a lot of heart and soul into something like that, and and you think that, oh my gosh, this is how would they ever think about calling you up and saying, well, I'm sorry, but the film went a little too long. We're gonna, we have to. It ain't gonna work.
They do that a lot, though.
Well, did they do it? Did they do a test audience or something before that? Is that why they came to that decision?
I don't know if it went through focus groups or not, or maybe it was just time. I have no idea.
See, the general public doesn't understand that. A lot of times, especially, they'll use different groupings. There's theater groups, or they'll use a movie house in Pasadena. I think one in Van Nuys and one in South Bay area, like near Long Beach,
to
get the demographics to watch the movie, and then they'll have 2 or 3 different versions. I mean, I remember seeing Father's Day with Billy Crystal and what's his name, Robin Williams, and I was asked to be a marketing consultant for that, and they had 3 different endings, and then we had to vote on which ending we wanted. And same with Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman. He sat in the audience with us, and we went through some stuff. And then one time I was asked, the year I worked at Paramount before I went back to Universal, I was asked to see Beverly Hills Cop 3, which was one of the worst films, and John Landis sat right next to me, and he kept doing this.
Was he trying to get your opinion?
Yeah, I was watching my reaction, taking him going like this, and some of the stuff was just typical of what was going on.
He respected your vote.
Well, maybe because I was so expressionable. I don't know, but the general public in the United States or around the world does not understand what films go through. Was my whole point.
Right.
The process to get to the end result, and sometimes actors' careers or the days that we put our blood, sweat, and tears into simply goes down the toilet.
Because of it.
Oh, I had some stuff in St. Elmo's Fire. I went on one or two little bits that I had that I'd worked, good 2 weeks that Joel Schumacher hired before that ended up on the editing room floor. Same in Greece too. I was on that, did a lot of stuff and down the toilet. So if you blink, it's one of those I tell people, well, if you blink fast enough, you might be able to see my left chin. I have two chins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you kind of learn not to tell anybody.
Exactly. No, I just
I'm
after that
doing
point.
anything right now until it's in the can and at the
And
theater.
it's,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Well, how's the social network? How is that one? Because that Facebook is huge.
And you're in the trailer. I mean, all the time. Every time you see the trailer, you're the part of the trailer.
I was so blessed that he used me in that trailer. I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that one small scene, and a lot of it is because of the trailer. But that was my first. I mean, the audition for Little House was very standard. I went in to see Michael Landon, and I ended up going back 6 times, I think, because we had to go to the network people.
Wow.
In those days, you just would go back in. They'd pair you up with the family. They'd keep checking you out and adding and seeing if you were. And it would get down to 2 women, and I got picked. That was like the old day. This was the first time with Social Network that I'd ever been cast from a videotape only. I'd gone into the casting director's office. She put the scene on tape, and she sent it away to, I think, Scott Rudin and David Fincher and those involved with the casting and directing and producing. And it was months later, we got a call back, and I got picked. I mean, I had never met him. I didn't meet him till we were on the set that day. And he was wonderful to work with. He's very on task. Michael was fun. He was a jokester. It was Michael Landon. It was like, the 9th season when I joined up. So he would think nothing of sending. I remember Melissa Gilbert and I, we were supposed to say goodbye to our husbands and turn around and walk up this hill. And he just kept letting us walk. He never said cut. We just kept going. And Melissa whispers in my ear, he's not going to say cut. This is what he does. He just lets you go, and you have to keep going until someone screams cut. And then you turn around and they'll all be laughing at you. She said, get used to it and welcome to Little House. And that's what happened all the time. Mr. Fisher was very, very dedicated and serious about what was going on. We got in and out in a half a day. It was very quick, my work in there. And he was just as polite and kind as he could be. And I think he really made me look better than I felt like I acted that day in the final product. But the fact that he had it in the trailer, a lot of people were seeing it for a long time.
Wow.
And then after that one was over with, I got an email. And my agent said, my manager said, I'm going to send you an email I just got from the casting agent. Now, I'd already met her before. She had hired me as a recurring character in a Victor Garber TV show called Justice. And it only lasted 1 season, but I got a couple shows out of it.
You were the judge, weren't you?
Yes, I was a judge, yes. So I had met this casting woman before. Her name is Ronna Kress. And she called my manager and she said, I'm going to send you this email. It says, Pamela Roylance is Fox Searchlight's first choice for the role of Diane Weiscarver in The East. And I had not auditioned for anyone, let alone, gone from tape to somebody. I didn't even need them. It was just straight off of Social Network.
Wow.
And when I met the director, young, wonderful man, he said, I just loved what you did in Social Network, and I knew I had to have you. And I thought, wow, that was the first offer I had ever been given after, what have I been here since 1980? So that's 34 years now. Yeah, it was a big deal.
Well, what do you do? I know you're still acting now, but do you have any hobbies or anything on the side that you do besides acting?
It's interesting. I teach. I have some mat Pilates classes and some yoga classes and some senior fitness classes that take up 1 hour every morning, Monday through Friday.
That's cool.
And yeah, it's nice. It keeps me in shape, and it's wonderful working with the seniors. That may be one of my favorites.
If you were here, I would join your class.
Do you have like a wheelchair races, a tournament you have going on or something?
That's a good idea. Actually, I think they could. They put a lot of people under the table as far as they can do circles around some of the other younger people I've seen in classes before. They are so dedicated, and they never want to stop, and they want you to push them and not talk down to them. So we work really hard with
Now,
that.
you know how people sometimes in LA try to act really cool, especially when they see someone they know and admire their work. Do you still get people from Little House fans that when you're in the grocery store and they walk up to you and go, I loved you all the way from the beginning of your career all the way to the end of your career? And you go, yeah, right. Thank you, lady. You ever get that?
It's pretty much not among the public. It's pretty much only with industry people
Right.
now. I rarely, of course, even on Little House, I rarely got recognized because I look very different than I look now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, darker hair, and it was always up.
And all those warts on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And a bonnet
The evil
on my
witch
head.
stuff. Yeah. I wanted to ask you one quick Little House, not so much of an antidote, but of the years that you worked with Michael Landon and just the whole genre of the Little House cast and crew and everyone, what was the one thing that you would say you took away the most? That it's strong remembrance for yourself. If you say, if there was anything I took away from Little House, what would it be?
I think it just had to be the idea that we were a family, that we weren't there to be a star or a celebrity, and there wasn't anybody on that set that wasn't sharing the experience. So it became a project where we were doing something that we all loved and believed in. We weren't there so much really for outshining our fellow actor. And the crew had been with Michael, many of them since Bonanza days, and stayed with him through his very final.
35 years. I
Yeah.
read an article about
The
that.
final
Yeah.
thing was Us, which came after Highway to Heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it ever aired because he passed away after they had, I think, just done the pilot is all. I can't
Right.
remember. But his people were tight family anyway. So when we came in, the 6 of us that year, the 9th season, 6 of us, brand new to this, they all embraced us and made us feel like we were important to them and we were a part of the group. And it was
Wow.
though we had been there since day one. And I don't think I'll ever forget how warm and wonderful that was to be
Yeah.
treated like that. Because usually, especially if you're a guest star, you go in to a set and it's in motion and these people are together and you come in. And it used to be, remember Hotel and Fantasy Island and Murder, She Wrote? All of those shows were focused around the guest star. But now it's focused around the ensemble cast and the guest star just kind of fits in and it can be very lonely. And I had done an episode of Designing Women and it was 6 o'clock in the morning and I'd walked into the studio and Annie Potts walked by with a cup of coffee in her hand and she looked at me and she said, "Hi, I'm Annie Potts." And I said, I know who you are. I
Yeah,
know."
she's cute.
Yeah, and so when people make you feel like a part of the family,
Yeah.
because honestly, guest star can be the loneliest gig you'll get. It's a wonderful feeling, and I was trained on that with Michael Landon, so I expect it everywhere.
Right.
And it's kind of a surprise sometimes when you get it. And oddly enough, we just had it right now on this 8-day shoot I was on. It was a very cohesive cast and crew, and there were no tempers. There were no egos. It was a labor of love that we all did.
I could tell you're a very genuine woman. You're very beautiful. You have a great personality. So, I mean, anybody would welcome you.
Oh, well, thank you. Maybe it hides
Oh,
the
don't
bad
stroke
thing.
her ego too much here. I mean, tell you. I mean, this is with a mutual admiration society here.
Well,
Is there any? I meant to ask you, Pam. Is there any plans in the works for any kind of a Little House reunion, like coming to the 21st century? I mean,
No,
maybe
they've
they
got
take a
some-
train into San Jose or something, and they come into a plethora of a new Mecca or something.
No, I don't think so. But wouldn't that be fun?
Yep.
Michael Landon's son, Mike Jr.
Right. He's directing that.
He's
Yeah.
working on. He's got a Hallmark show on now, and it's shot very much in the formula that his dad used.
Right.
When I look at it, I think, oh my gosh, he's doing so much that his father just knew was going to work in our country. Well, around the world.
Right.
It's very big in Spain. It's big in
Hola.
France. Real big in France.
Hola, compadre. Mi casa es tu casa. Impotito que casa.
Right.
Too funny.
So,
Now,
yeah,
do you
it's
find
great.
when you traveled across that more people outside the country recognize you, perhaps?
Well, I think when I was on Days, that was true. When I was on Days, I got recognized. I was going to tell you, when I was on Little House, I kept wanting to be recognized, and no one ever recognized me. And I kept thinking, boy, the first person that recognizes me, if I'm in the market, I'm going to buy all their groceries for them or whatever. Well, I got recognized on a hot, sweaty August day on just getting off of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland.
Oh, too
That's
funny.
funny.
Just sweating and no makeup and this woman said, you're on Little House. And I said, oh my gosh. And I fell apart because I
Yeah.
couldn't have anyone.
Isn't that the way it always happens?
Yeah.
Though?
You
Isn't
least
it?
suspect it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so embarrassed.
Oh.
But on
Definitely. Well,
days
you know,
I was over in Greece with a friend of mine.
uh-huh.
Remember Rhonda Carr?
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember Ronnie. Yes. She I remember and Rick Carr. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And she and I had gone to Greece and we were on a day cruise on some little ship around the islands. And this whole group of kids from Canada recognized me. And a lot of young people would recognize me because, young people love those soap operas. So,
Well, the soap operas, for Dr. Sandy Horton. Then they killed her off. They literally killed her off.
Conventions and stuff. Though.
What's that?
They have conventions on soap operas, from what I hear. They
do you
used
do any
to.
of that? I mean, you did a couple of those with Days, didn't you?
Yeah, I've done a few of those things in a few Little House reunion things. In fact, Little House has a big reunion coming up in Minnesota this summer.
Minnesota, yes, right. Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm not able to go to that one, but it'll be a nice group from the cast that'll be there.
Well, my boss at the other job loves you, and her name is Yvonne Davis. So I have to say hello to you from her because she watches Little House, and I grew up with that. My mother watched it religiously, and she also read the books that I have as well. So Little House is true to our hearts up there as well.
And my dog,
thank you so much for that.
My dog Skippy loves you too. He just loves everything about the way you fed the animals on the prairie.
Yeah.
You were such an
empathically.
ASPCA type person, Pam. It was just incredible.
Well, Kim, if you want to make sure I get her address, I'll send her a photo. I've got some
Oh
little
my gosh, that would be so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, thank
Can
you
I
so
can I get
much.
one too?
Thank you, really.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Didn't I give it to you already?
I want one too because I have the one when we won our awards that year.
Yeah, it's
For
funny.
Best Actor and Actress. Remember that year?
I do. That was a big deal.
Oh yeah. Oh, Matt, my producer told me Skippy died. So thanks for reminding me, Matt.
I know. Well,
So-
she did the social network, and I
Yeah.
looked her up on the social network, and I could not find you on the social network. So she's not on there.
Well, IMDb. Remember, Pam and I have talked about this before. I mean, as much as a lot of people put merit in IMDb, we found that they give us credit for things we didn't even do, and give us and not credit for things we did do. Well, she's not on Facebook, but it just amazes me what kind of information they actually had Pam on Days of Our Lives in 1964, and she didn't join until 84. So I mean, 20 years off. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, do your homework, do your research. Don't be a bunch of ding dongs,
That's when the show started.
Well, thank you for that. I'll tell her. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think on the social network, it's listed under IMDb. I'm the ad board woman, I think is what they call it.
You know what? There's a little trivia thing. I don't know if you guys did. Have you guys in the Peanut Gallery? Have you guys all seen The Social Network? Okay. Now there's an actor that's sitting. If you see Pam, and she's one of the staff of Harvard University that is trying to convict Zuckerberg for doing wrongdoing, and he's up on charges in school. And so and that's part of the trailer. But in the scene itself that lasts a few moments, there's a number of actors that are sitting at this background table, and Zuckerberg's sitting. The character actor is playing Zuckerberg across from her. And there's a guy that's sitting to Pam's right, the camera left, if you're looking at the thing, when you see her talking and bringing up the charges, as an actor that he really didn't do too much as an adult. And I know, Pam, I know you know what I'm talking about. There was an actor that was a very well-known child actor. Okay, now you guys have seen it, so do you know who I'm talking about? Bueller? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Okay, the actor's name is Stanley Livingston, who played Ernie on My Three Sons. My Three Sons, and he's sitting off to the side there, and he's bald now. He still has the same cherub face. He and his brother both. We chat from time to time on Facebook, kind of catch up with each other because when I was a kid actor, we all auditioned for the same commercials and stuff. And the thing about it was that I had an advantage to not being on the Brady Bunch. When I was one of the final three for Peter Brady, or if I was auditioning for this, that, or the other thing, the guys like my buddy Darby Hinton, who played Isaiah on Daniel Boone and people like that, is that these guys didn't get the commercials because it's so recognizable with the shows that they were on. So I mean, one of my first commercials, I was like 8-9 years old, was a Wonder Bread commercial. And I remember beating out Barry and Stanley Livingston, and I walked in and well, I'm not going to get it. These guys are on a popular TV show. I'm not going to get it. And sure enough, I said, Wonder Bread's the 8-hour bread.
Where's that commercial? Can we see it?
I tried looking it up. Some of the stuff on YouTube, they carry some of the stuff, and some they don't.
I see.
So, there's some archival of other things I've done that are out there, but I used different names as a kid because there was an English actor named Ian Stevens that was under SAG, and I couldn't use my own name. So I used different names growing up. So, I used Hortense Buckenfuckenprinter, and I used Buford T. Culpepper. So, all those great, wonderful names. Well, and then I happened to walk into Glendale Center Theater, and there was Pam Roylance. Oh my gosh! I remember asking Jim Betters. He goes, "Who's that?"
Oh, remember Jim?
No, he's still around, and we talked to each other on Facebook quite a bit, and he even asked, because I told him you were going to be on tonight's show. So a lot of our mutual friends.
A lot of people were on that show, Little House on the Prairie. I looked it up. It was Johnny Cash.
A lot of people.
Was Johnny?
Johnny Cash was on there.
Clu Gallagher, Johnny Cash.
They were big on guest stars.
Yeah.
They were
Randy
big
Travis. A lot of the country western stars because they were big fans
really
of.
Cool.
Yeah, I learned a lot. A couple times PM invited me out, and I got to play a wrestler on one episode. But there was a couple times when and I learned as a director, I've taken and from stuff from different actors or directors, I should say.
Right.
And I learned a lot from Michael Landon. I watched how his tempo was with the people, and I never raised my voice to my actors and yell and scream like, "You're an acting, quit acting, you suck!" I don't do any of that kind of stuff.
You did to me yesterday.
I did not. I wasn't directing. I was aiding. Danny was the one who was in charge. I just said, "Would you just give me my flippin' pizza and my soda, please? And don't give me attitude about it, lady. Move on." But we got to get. Pam's going to be. We're going to get Pam out here soon because, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and we get all of our resources to make things happen. Pam's going to be joining us and teaching a workshop at the Florida Film Industry Expo.
Oh yeah.
And we're real excited about that, Pam, because I know we tried last year.
I'm going to be there too, so I'll get to meet you there.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm
so
excited.
she'll be coming out.
I'm really excited because I think what's going to be great, and probably was in years past about this expo, is that you're getting information as current as it can be given to you from people who are in the business doing it, and it's changing every day. We can't even keep up with it. So you're getting something much more current that textbooks or professors can give you. It's something really fresh.
Hands-on right there. I'm excited.
Well, it's so invaluable, and and for Pam to be a part of that, along with other people we have, again, being women in film and women in leadership like Pam and others that'll be lending their support and their knowledge and again creating the road between Tampa and Hollywood, and really making that happen. So I'm excited about seeing that really come into fruition and having Pam part of that. And
my goal is to encourage everybody who wants to do it because if Pam Roylance from Portland, Oregon, can do it and have the career I've had, you can too.
Amen to that. Yeah. Thank you
Well,
so
I don't know
much.
if I'm a guy. I don't know if I can. Maybe if I go get a sex change or something. How about you, Kim? I got to tell you something, Pam. She is quite the. She reminds me of a kind of a mixture of Mary Steenburgen and a character actress, like her name escapes me right now, but she did a lot of stuff in the 70s and 80s, and she's got a wonderful mix and a true level of sensibility. And she's only been acting, very short the last couple of years.
A year.
And it's been a year, okay. And she's got a great demo reel. So if you ever go on and look up Kim Marie demo reel, she's got a really powerful. It's very short and sweet, but it's to the point. And she's starting to get more and more work. And I have a pleasure just having fun. She's my work wife. And
that's wonderful.
We have such a great time here, just bantering and picking on each other. But no, I'm just surrounded by greatness. And
he's my teacher, so I met him through that, and now we're hooked up in this, and just keeps on rolling.
So now we can just join hands and sing, "We are the world, we steal your children," all that kind of good stuff.
Hooray!
Well, Pam, I can't believe our whole hour has slipped by us here.
Me too. And you know what? Tell people to come to Film Expo, and we will share all the stories we didn't get to today.
Definitely.
So everyone, go to FFIEXPO.com, get your tickets for either that or the red carpet dinner event. You'll be able to meet Pam, pick her brain in between classes because she'll have some time off in between as she does her hour and then another grouping time the next day, the 2 days that we're there. And so some people can be able to have some sideline conversations and just have some dialogue with her. She'll be there and making herself available along with our other speakers and workshop seminar leaders as well. So make sure you get your tickets. But Pam, again, thank you so much for your time. I know you've had a very busy schedule. Really quick, are you doing any future projects coming up?
Well, the one we just finished today, the producer told me that he's got a commercial coming up he wants to consider me for, although...
Are you playing a tomato or something?
You may have noticed. And
she broke her wrist.
Oh, yeah.
So show your wrist. See,
I am, and I've got 4 more weeks in this.
Oh.
So it's kind of putting a little damper on things.
Well, I hope you feel better. And get well soon.
Take a lot of Excedrin, the
No,
cyanide
it's no
strength.
pain. It's no pain.
Well, it's nice having you. Thanks for coming on the show. We look forward to seeing you at the expo.
Me
Definitely.
too.
And I'll be in touch with you on the other thing as well. Thank you so much for that.
Well, thank you, Pammy. And I'll call you later. We'll do a post up and we'll chat. And I love you forever. Thank you for, lending
Look
your
forward
time
to
and
meeting you.
and lending your support
Gary,
today.
thank you. I'm sorry to boot you out.
Yeah, I don't know. They got another show coming in here, but whatever. Otherwise, we could sit and chat for hours and hours and hours.
Definitely.
But eventually, we're going to be doing. We'll try to get you. I think we're going to do a live remote that weekend at the expo, so we'll be able to interview live with us, and that'll be really, really cool.
And we look forward to having you back so we can hear about your new project. How's that?
You got it.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Pammy. Well, everyone, thanks again for tuning in. We look forward to, for those of you, you can go to YouTube and just type in Talk I.N.K, Ian and Kim. We have everything archival. This is our episode 8.
Facebook,
yeah,
too.
friend us on Facebook. We got a wonderful website there as well. We're growing in leaps and bounds as far as our fan base, and we've had an interest from other people that want to take us to a higher level. So just thanks to all you guys, and we love you so much. We never take you for granted. Thanks to Doug, our cameraman, my producer Matt, Gary, the head guy at the helm, our PR guy, Jeff Lauterbach, and my letter touchstone, Lacey, you little knucklehead. I love you. Matt's not letting her in the room here. Come on over here, kiddo. And she starts band camp next week. You're all red. Just say hi to the folks. Say hi, I love you. Hi, Eli. She's a great tuba player. We love you. Well, guys, thanks again. We send you off, and we love you so much. Have a great week.
Peace out.
See you next week. Oh, my gosh. Didn't she look a cherry? A cherry. Cherish is the word I use to describe.
There's a movie called Cherry 2000. Did you ever see
Is it
that
really?
one? Yeah.
What's it about?
Kind of like Gone in 60 Seconds almost.
So it's kind of like you steal a car and you like take off and stuff? Ooh, super bitchin'.
It's like the original Gone in 60 Seconds.
Oh, Gone in 60 Seconds?
Actually,
cool.
I'm gone in like 4 seconds.
No, we got to talk afterwards. But we can say Chris Tushin, we love you. That's Lacey's music teacher. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
She was really nice. I really liked her.
Oh, Pam?
Yeah.
Oh, she's wonderful. Great.
Very, I know.
30 years ago. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
1981, 82.
I didn't even know there was a 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I'm still at 30 years ago.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.